Hey guys, Level Cap here. Today I'm going to be showing you some infantry fighting vehicle combat, specifically the LAV-25, which is the United States infantry fighting vehicle. Now, unlike the tank, I have yet to unlock everything with this vehicle. It is a much rarer vehicle to find in most maps. There's usually only one of them in most maps, as opposed to some maps where there's like 3 tanks sometimes, or 4 per team. There's usually only one infantry fighting vehicle, and they're often in the closer quarter infantry heavy maps, which makes sense. Now, right now I've got it outfitted with the proximity scanner, the ATGM launcher, which is the anti-tank guided missile launcher. Now, you will see me use that rocket launcher a few times in this video. It's pretty much identical to this stationary rocket launcher in that you'll fire the missile without needing a lock-on and it will fly towards your crosshair. Now, what is cool about that gun is that it's not going to alert any tanks or armored vehicles or jeeps that you have launched a rocket at it, because it does not require a lock-on, so they're not going to hear that loud beeping, which will signal them to either deploy infrared smoke or drive out of the way. So it's pretty cool. You can be a little bit more stealthy with it. Now you'll see I am using thermal optics, which makes it way easier to spot infantry. And I feel that the infantry fighting vehicle's main advantage in these kind of maps, or just in general, is its speed. It's very quick. Now, watch how I'm backing up and dodging these obstacles here. I just got hit by a rocket or a tank shell. I'm not really sure what it was, and I had to get out of the combat zone very fast. That's where this thing excels as opposed to a tank. Sometimes with a tank, you get yourself into the combat zone a little bit too far, and then all of a sudden you get disabled real fast, and before you know it, you've lost all your maneuverability and you can't get out of there, and then you get taken out. The infantry fighting vehicle can get out of the combat zone very quickly. If you take one shot and before you're disabled, you can still zoom out of there. It's very durable, can go up a lot of rugged terrain, and is great for quick maneuvering too. You'll see right here I am ducking out of that tank's line of sight there, so I'm not taking tank shells anymore. And I'm getting locked on here, so I'm backing up as much as possible. I do get disabled by that rocket, but you know what? I always play engineer in the start of a map, so I'm in luck here. Obviously it's more helpful if you have a secondary gunner who can jump out and repair for you, but in this case, I seem to be managing pretty well solo. I think I do get some teammates to help me out quite a bit later in this match. Now, I do occasionally forget to turn my thermal optics back on, and you know, it's hard to sometimes because this game is just so good looking, and staring at it in black and white kind of sucks. But I can still do pretty decently without it, and here we go. I remember to turn it back on. I know there's a tank up there. You can see him on the mini-map. So here I'm going to come around and get the jump on him. Fire my ATGM rocket, and then you can switch over and immediately start shooting your normal rounds even before the rocket hits. So if you want to dish out as much damage as you can, as fast as you can, make sure to switch to your normal rounds. And there we go. I just took out that tank. It's always nice and rewarding taking out a tank with the infantry fighting vehicle, because one-on-one a tank should definitely beat you in a battle. And I don't have reactive armor because I haven't unlocked it yet, but I don't think I'm actually going to switch over to reactive armor when I unlock it, because since the infantry fighting vehicle often finds itself in much closer quarters than a tank usually does, I find the proximity scanner will probably be better at helping me avoid guys trying to C4 my tank. And thermal optics, again, showing its extreme usefulness for spotting anti-tank mines, which are like the cause of death in so many tanks. And there we go, a guy just almost C4'd me to death. Luckily I killed him. I think he only got one C4 pack on me, and a guy was shooting me. You'll see that a lot. When guys get out, they get tagged a few times by bullets and don't get back in the tank. As soon as you get a hit marker on you, hit that E button. My finger is like hovering over E when I'm repairing, just because I know I'm like a prime target for anybody, and I really don't want my vehicle to get stolen, especially one that I've like repaired to near 100% health. So I managed to barely save that vehicle there. You'll see my proximity scanners keeping me aware that there's a guy right around here somewhere, so I'm trying to look out for him. And again, just using my speed. If I don't feel comfortable there, just get out of the area. This is a very, very fast vehicle. It's actually, it feels faster than Humvees or Jeeps, honestly. You can get this thing going up very fast. And here we go, another ATGM combined with my regular cannon. Took that thing out in one volley. I know it was probably damaged a little, but it's still pretty darn cool seeing that whole thing go up with one rocket. I don't know why cars explode when you just seem to nick them with a tank or an infantry fighting vehicle. I always thought that was kind of silly. It would be neat if you could like drive over vehicles much easier, but you don't seem to be able to in this game. In fact, that's kind of one of my biggest gripes in this game, is not just the vehicle but the infantry's getting hung up on weird little obstacles in the environment. I mean, I get stuck on ledges trying to jump over a fence or a gate or something that you should normally be able to scale very easily, and having to try and jump 2 or 3 times just to get over it. Hopefully that'll get fixed in maybe a patch or something. It's obviously not game breaking, and there's more stuff that DICE should definitely focus on before focusing on that, but it would be nice to see some improvements and a little bit of polish in that realm. Now I'm being a bit aggressive here. This is probably more aggressive than I should be playing right now. Vehicles really work best when you're being supported by infantry around you that can be a little bit more attentive to threats like that stationary launcher right there. And I know there's one out there, and check that out. That guy was wearing his Spec Ops camo, so he wasn't showing up on my thermal optics, and I sort of just caught him as a little bit of a black blur and had to switch to my normal view. That's something that I feel like when people start unlocking Spec Ops camo a bit more, it's really going to nullify a lot of the infrared effects. Although I fear that when everybody unlocks Spec Ops camo, every team is just going to be a bunch of guys dressed in like all solid black suits, and camouflage is going to be something that nobody wears anymore. And let's be honest, the camouflage does look a little bit cooler. It'd be kind of weird if everybody was dressed like ninjas running around the map. And right back there I was able to take out the other infantry fighting vehicle. Luckily my gunner popped out and was repairing me, although I think I still would have gotten the kill. It just would have been a lot closer. And there's some more mines. I find it ridiculous that you can get 20 points for killing a single mine on the ground, but you still only get 10 points for a spot assist. I think 20 points for a spot assist would be nicer. That's what it was in Bad Company 2, and I think that was a little bit more fair, since spotting guys really is so incredibly useful for your teammates, and honestly gets them a lot of kills whenever you do it. One mine blowing up 20 points, and since guys usually put a whole bunch of mines down at once, you often get like 80 points at a time. And as you can see right there, this vehicle just chews through Vodniks and Humvees. I can't think of any other weapon that I would rather have when going up against a transport, a lighter transport, because the main gun on this just destroys them. And I'm really curious to see what the armor-piercing rounds do when I unlock those. I'll definitely have to do a video on that if they're very effective. Now, I definitely have to be a little bit less aggressive here. The guys know I'm here. I'm taking a lot of fire, so I have to push up slower. I know the round's coming to an end soon, so I'm trying to get in there and get a lot of kills, but here's where I make kind of a big mistake. I shouldn't have pushed in this far, and there's quite a few guys here. I'm disabled, and managed to get out just barely. There's a nade right next to me, so I popped out and popped back in, trying to fend off these guys, and my teammate was nice enough to repair me. The round ends. I didn't die one single time. So do not underestimate the infantry fighting vehicle's effectiveness. It is an incredibly lethal weapon, incredibly good, especially when you have some teammates who are there to repair you and also be a very good secondary gunner. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.